Happy Mother's Day once again to all of the moms watching us today. Maligayang araw po ng mga ina sa inyong lahat, sa mga nanay na nanonood sa atin. If you're just joining us, not to worry, you have missed the first two segments of the show today, but it's okay because we are always on social media. In fact, on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/sojaneltv, we post longer versions of our interview segments here on the show. Also, we want to get social with you on Facebook, facebook.com/sojaneltv. And for real-time behind-the-scenes stories, features, photos, and videos, we are on Instagram, instagram.com/sojaneltv. Today on the program, we are focusing on our conversation with Maria Quiban, who is also an AAPI. She is Filipino, representing us on the mainstream because she is a meteorologist for one of the major networks here in Southern California. And so happy AAPI month to all of you as well. But you know what? May is also Brain Cancer Awareness Month, as it is Mental Health Awareness Month. I say mental health because Maria Quiban, when she lost her husband, she had a 3-year-old son, a 4-year-old at that time, and she had to deal with all these things. She lost her husband to brain cancer, and she also had to fight with all her might to get out of depression. Here is the continuation of our interview with Maria Quiban, who is so bold. How are you coping mentally, emotionally?
It's not easy. And going through something like this, I could not have done this without our counselor. Mental health is important, and we go to the dentist, we go to the doctor all the time. We should go to a head and heart doctor too. Everybody should have a counselor. And we need to check in, and mental health is important. That's how I do it. I have a village. I have a village around me, and you can't do it alone. So I hope that our book can inspire you, in some way to live your best life.
Going through grief, I mean, it's not just you grieving, it's your son how did you go through that also?
It's different all the time. We go through different stages in life. And so in this book, I partner up with a family therapist who is a specialist in grief and in children.
Oh.
And so she takes each chapter of this book and she extrapolates and really takes the information that we share and universalizes it. She makes it so that you can understand you don't have to have gone through what we've gone through.
Right.
Any loss is a loss.
Yes.
And so there are real lessons in this book that can be applicable to anyone, whether you've lost a spouse, a parent, a special 4-legged friend, or your job. A loss can hit you so hard. And so we learned a lot of different things here, not just going through cancer and treatments, but also loss in general, and how to go through life missing someone every single day, because you will. There's no question that person is going to be missed.
Also, like some parents right now, the problem with them is they want to help their kids, but sometimes the kids are not as vocal. And you also have to be a parent listening, but at the same time, listening to those unspoken things, behavior changes. And even after the pandemic, there's so many kids that...
Such a great example. The pandemic was an exact example of being isolated and being powerless, because a disease like this makes you feel so powerless. And there is a way for you to gain that power back. And there is power even in a terminal diagnosis, terminal cancer. I have power. He had power, and Gus had power even as young as he was. And so for him, just finding the language to talk to him about disease. And I'll give you a quick example. Telling him that his dad had a cancer diagnosis was really important. We did not tell him that his dad was sick. So I only learned that from talking to our counselor and our therapist, because you don't want to confuse a child. you don't want to say that your parent is sick, because then if they get sick,
And they think
they're
you're
going to die.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's some real important lessons, and the language that you use for a kid is really important. It has to be age appropriate.
Right.
And so I can't do that alone, for sure.
Well, you can't
Yeah.
do it alone, but you did it, Maria. You're doing it. You wrote this book. How long did it take you? And was it easier? I imagine it's cathartic, right?
It
Because
was.
you're putting it out. But then at some points, it must have been very difficult as well, because these are memories that you kind of want to just go through and not dwell on. And when you're writing, you're kind of forced to dwell and remember.
Yeah, you kind of go back in time and put yourself back in that situation
Yeah.
again. And I think that's one of the reasons why there are really few books about brain cancer and the experience of going through brain cancer treatment, because I think at the end of it, most people don't want to go back and relive those moments. Every tumor is different. There's over 100 different kinds of tumors, and depending on where they are in the brain can affect you very differently. Your brain is your engine, your hard drive, and when you're dealing with a brain disease, it's really very different from any other kind of cancer. And so I think writing the book, which took 3 years, by the way,
Yes.
from the first page, sitting down, to the time I finally got the book in my hand, it took me 3 years, and part of it was the challenge of going back in time and reliving some of those moments. But it was also very cathartic, and it was also very fulfilling, because I did get to go back and relive those moments again,
Right.
which I would trade still today in a heartbeat for those moments.